Good morning, everyone. Oh, look, I got clothes on the ground in the background. Awesome. Let me just go like this. There we go. My name's Joe. Welcome to the Captain's Chat. It's Tuesday. It's sometime, I think it's 2 days after Easter, whatever date that is, in our world. So there's a couple special ladies on the show today. I'm a little intimidated today. It's going to be a crazy show. We've got my wife, April, and our other captain's wife, Kelly Melton. So Chuck Melton's wife on the show today. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to get a woman's perspective, or a partner or wife's or spouse, whatever, perspective on what it takes to be an elite athlete in our sport. And then hopefully dive into some questions with kind of the process of seeing that whole through, because it's kind of neat. April and Kelly both went through the whole accident and everything that happens after. So it'll be neat to kind of get their perspective on that. And so I'll invite them on. But Kelly is the wife of Chuck Melton for 23 years. That gets her, I don't know, all the gold in heaven, I guess. But mother to Blake, who's 21. Bailey is 20. And Allison is 18. She's a speech pathologist. Speech language pathologist, right? Is that how? I don't know. She'll correct me. For the last 27 years. So working with all kinds of kiddos with speech. So that's awesome. My wife April has about 15 different degrees and works with me in our speaking business, and obviously runs the house as far as the kids go and everything like that. And so I feel like introducing them, they have about a million different titles and they do a million different things. And so I won't do it justice, but I know that we appreciate them. And as always, send in your questions, your comments, your concerns can be put over the toilet. There's a basket with an empty bottom on the back on there. So we'll throw those up there. But without further ado, Kelly, how are you doing? April, how you doing? Love it. Okay, let's hold up Chuck again. Let's see Chuck again. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. Well, thank you guys for being on and getting a perspective. I know for a long time we wanted to do like a wives or legs or whatever edition, and so we figured it'd be cool to have the captain's wives on, so Chuck's wife and my wife. And so but I think where we could get started, maybe Kelly, you could go first, is get started with like maybe take your memory back to when Chuck first started rugby, and what that looks like and what all that was about from your perspective.
Well, in the hospital just immediately a couple days after his accident, a guy by the name of Glenn Bell came in the hospital room, and he was also in a wheelchair and started talking about wheelchair rugby. And I basically said, "Get out. I'm just happy he's alive at this point. I'm not." So I just put it in the back of my mind, and we continued on with our life. Several years later, Chuck was still going to therapy over in St. Louis. We live about an hour and 20 minutes away from where he was going. And he would mention wheelchair rugby every now and then. But again, I just was not ready for that at all. So a couple years later, I don't know why, but the thought kind of came back into my mind. We were at a great place. We had kind of figured out what this quad life was like and what we needed to do. We were, being successful. Our marriage was in a good place. And I said, "Hey, have you thought about that wheelchair rugby thing anymore?" And he said, every now and then. So he said, maybe we could go check out a practice. I said, "Yeah, that sounds good. Set it up. Tell me when, and we'll go." So 2008, we go to a wheelchair rugby practice in St. Louis. And of course, everybody welcomed Chuck, with open arms. And we're immediately talking about, what kind of function he had, and show me your hands and this and that. And I thought, oh wow, these, it was really great to see people just embrace him and what skills he did have. And we saw people that had less function than him, and it really made us thankful for what he did have. And there was a gentleman there by the name of Paul Rickman who has since passed away. But Paul came over and talked to me, and he was the first person who really asked me how I was doing, and how I was coping with his new disability, and things like that. And it was amazing that somebody actually was acknowledging that it wasn't just Chuck who has suffered this traumatic event, but me as well. And so we really felt welcome by the rugby community. And I mean, Chuck never looked back. He didn't miss a practice after that. I didn't go, but he was at every practice, and I could see it make a huge positive, impact in his life, in his attitude, and just his function as well, because he started seeing the way other people were, doing things that he didn't think he could do, but he quickly learned he could. So it was very beneficial.
I love that. I love that whole thing, and that you both were going through it. It wasn't just Chuck. I'm sorry about the popping and everything like that with my computer. I think it's April and I's computer, but sorry for everyone listening. And then April just went and took Brindley to the bus stop real quick. She's gonna get on for 4K. But no, I love what you're saying there, and also like the deal is, I mean, we talked about the kids, and your beautiful kids that are almost all out of the house now, but close to it. But at that point, they were little, right? So,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about juggling that?
Yeah, when he had his accident, Blake turned 3 when Chuck was still in ICU. And I had an 18-month-old Bailey, and then I was also 5 months pregnant at the time of the accident. So it was very overwhelming, and talk about a life change overnight. It was just it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, just unbelievable. And it's neat. It's been so neat to see the kids like grow. I feel like the entire rugby community is like grown, like seeing your kids grow up, which is really neat. And yeah. So Ape back from the bus stop, but we're just talking about Kelly and being pregnant during this whole deal, and kind of finding rugby, and then having people reach out to her and say, "Hey, are you okay? Like, how are you doing?" April, can you maybe tell a story of when I was first introduced to rugby, and what that was like for you?
Oof. Seems like forever ago, but I guess you were the one that kind of looked it up because you were trying to figure out something to kind of fill the void of playing the college sport. So we you were in Winona, I was in La Crosse at college at the time, and in the Twin Cities was the closest rugby team. So you're like, one night, let's go check it out. So
It was like a 2.5 hour drive, maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So we drove up there, and they're like, "You want to get in a chair?" And he's like, "Sure." And I was like, "I don't know how this is going to work, but okay, let's do it." Because I think we had like everything you could have, sliding board, whatever, to get in. And so he got in, and
you can like put the baby powder on the slide so it'd be like easy. It was, yeah, I was to say.
So yeah, he got in, but like we were in like the smallest gym, and like it echoed as loud as it possibly could. So like those first couple of hits, I was like, yikes, like what is this? Like but I mean, after that, like I was like, all right, let's go.
I mean, I don't know about everyone, but yeah, Chuck and I do for sure, Gary. Hey, thank you for that. Hey, keep throwing the softball questions out. Those are great home runs, easy brownie points. Yeah, I think like in those first couple, times, and I always talk about this question, and I love hearing people's perspective on it, but that those first couple times at the gym, you're not thinking USA Rugby, you're not thinking like elite level, you're not thinking like, oh, this we're athlete. Like it's just you're getting in a chair. Like people said, I'm super crippled in a sliding board type of deal. Um, Sliding on that for like 30, 45 minutes to get in my chair. It kind of still does anyways. Everyone knows I don't transfer very well. But I guess my question would be, and Kelly, go ahead and answer this one, is how important was it for you guys as wives to kind of see that recreational side and maybe how it changed our perspective from your perspective, how it changed us in maybe setting some goals or being motivated and to get in shape or whatever it be. But just curious on that from like that recreational rehabilitational standpoint from what rugby is, what that meant for you guys.
Well, it was very eye-opening because whenever they said we're going to go to Indianapolis and play, and I thought, what? You want me to take this guy in a wheelchair and 3 kids to Indianapolis for a weekend? Do you know how much packing that's going to involve? Because I was thinking this is crazy. Like I never thought we would ever go on vacation. I never, I thought this is it. We're not going to ever do anything. We're going to be stuck at home now. And it was totally ridiculous to think that way. But I learned, we struggled, but it was a learning process, and it was, my kids had a blast. They, jumped in other guys's chairs in between games. They made trains and pulled each other around the gym, and, Kevin Brown taught them how to do that. And, Allison almost
Of
died
course, Kevin did.
and almost taken her out in the goal, at the goal line there. And, so it was great for them to be around other people who had children, and they got to see, other daddies in wheelchairs and mommies in wheelchairs. And, so it was fantastic. It was a way for them to fit in. And it was, just really empowering to be able to still go to places and do things, even though, he was now in a wheelchair. So we learned lots of stuff from other people. And I kind of developed a network where I could reach out to other women and say, hey, we're having trouble with this. Do you have any ideas? And it was great to be able to bounce those questions off other people who are in similar circumstances.
April, what about you?
I think for us, it was a little bit different. So like for rehab, I mean, we did it in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which I think you were their first spinal cord injury that they've ever had. So for us, like we didn't have that other network of people to ask questions or like ask how to do stuff, like learning new things all over again. So when you started rugby, that was like a huge eye-opening experience because I mean, the first time you went, like I think you still had wheelie bars, you had armrests, like anything and everything that you can.
You don't have to tell everyone all the details.
I mean, like all the accessories that you can have for a wheelchair, I think you might have had. And so they're like, okay, you don't need this, you don't need that. Like, get rid of all of this stuff. Like, you're making yourself look worse, basically, than you are. So that was kind of an awesome point for you to be able to learn a lot of stuff. I don't even know if any of the guys at the time when we were playing in Minnesota initially had any wives or girlfriends. Because I don't remember any at the gym when I would come up with you. So like for me, I was kind of on my own of like figuring it out, which I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what we always did is like, let's do it. We'll figure it out type of thing.
Yeah, and then you got roped into changing tires and helping everyone on the team and the whole deal. But so that was interesting. So no, I love that perspective for both of you. I guess like to fast forward the story a little bit, Chuck and I have been on similar, but we started playing around the same time, and we've been on the national team for a long time together. What was that like when he came home, Kelly, and said, "Hey, I want to try to make the U.S. team. I want to try to do this." What was that like for you?
Well, the whole journey, it's really been a team effort. I mean, him and I, we sit down and talk about everything, all the decisions, because he knows that if he's gone, it's going to place more, um, I don't know, responsibility around the house on me. Because I always called him my house husband. Like, he does the cooking, he does the cleaning, he's laundry. He figured out all that stuff really early on. That if he could, be of benefit at home, then it helped me. And so while I was out working, so it worked out great. But, when he was gone, then all of that stuff was back on my plate again, in addition to, taking care of the kids and stuff like that. So, we ran everything by each other. And I think maybe even more for it than he was, just because I saw the growth in him, his leadership, the desire to want to do better. And, he started reading leadership books and, just working on, training every day. And, I think he went to developmental camp, and Troy McGurk said, "You need to lose weight." And, all of a sudden he was watching what he ate and, making healthy meals. And it was like, okay, he's really serious about this. So, and I just saw the benefits. He was just a better person when he played rugby, when he had an outlet. And it just helped all aspects of our lives. He had more patience with the kids, and he was, just doing much better. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. April, what are your thoughts?
Whoops. Hello.
We started drinking early this morning.
Well, I think like the whole aspect of starting to think about USA ball and what that looked like, I think at the time you were still using Starburst jelly beans as an OT tool to work on your finger dexterity.
I don't know.
So it was like, for you, same thing. Like, he told us that this is a Paralympic sport and this is my goal. So it was kind of a complete 180 as well, like making healthier food choices. Cause I mean, you gained a couple pounds after your injury. So it completely changed. Like, I mean, the first few practices you could barely go up and down the court, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, let's do this. And it's like, okay, you got to be able to do that a little bit faster each time. So, but I mean, at the time you started, we didn't have kids. So it was just the two of us, just navigating it and like going to the gym together, getting workouts together, that kind of thing for us. So I don't remember if you had another question, but.
No, that's perfect. And we've come to the point where I'm going to quiz you guys now, because you guys have both been in the sport basically for 15 years.
oh gosh.
So I'm going to quiz you. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So chime in with your answers on the comments. But April and Kelly, I'm going to both ask you, and then we'll see who's right or wrong. Okay, here we go. Wheelchair rugby was invented in what year?
Oh. That I don't know. It's in Canada. Can I get that?
It was in Canada. That doesn't help with the year. 89, you said? Okay. April?
I don't know.
Mandy Goff is correct.
Oh,
1977 is correct. 1977. All right, let's see if we can stump you guys again. In what year
Oh gosh.
and games was wheelchair rugby a demonstration sport in the Paralympics? What year and what games?
Beijing 2004.
Wasn't it in Athens? When was it?
Got him again. Mandy
We're
Goff,
awesome at this.
96 in hot.
Oh yeah, Atlanta.
Wow.
What was Athens?
Athens was 04. Sydney was the first Paralympic, like full medal. Yeah. Okay. So when was the last games that USA Wheelchair Rugby won gold?
Brian Kirkland was on the team. 2008.
Beijing.
You guys are both correct. Beijing, 2008. Ding, ding, ding. Ring that cowbell. She's on the board.
Finally.
Okay. True or false? Wheelchair rugby, the court is played on a regulation size basketball court. True or false?
True.
That is correct. That is correct. We're on one more. We got a hot streak. Okay. If Riley hits Melton in the back of the chair, in the back wheel, is that considered a spin?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And my
Absolutely.
kids have a fit and come kill him.
We're getting spicy here. I love it. Okay.
They cannot stand Australia. Just saying. She's a little bitter from 2016.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Last question. How many seconds do you have to either dribble the ball or pass the ball?
10.
10.
Correct. Correct. Good deal.
Like those rules are easy. These years thing throw me off.
Amazing. I just want to make sure you guys know your rules because, you know, in case you guys ever need to like help out the referees and stuff, then
okay, I have a question about a rule.
Okay.
Is it legal to use sticky on the court during a game?
If it's on your chair?
No. If it's brought out to you by the equipment manager.
I honestly don't even know. But I know where you're going with it. I know where you're going with it.
Out here.
Amazing.
Is there dependent on the gym or location you're at?
Is there a different rule for international play versus, you know, club ball?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe Mandy can answer.
Oh, stumped you.
Right.
I don't think you can't just call equipment. You can't call equipment. Maybe a ref that's listening can help. But I don't think you can call equipment specifically just for stickum. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's not banned, but patients can ask you not to use it. But in this case, I think it was an equipment timeout for stickum specifically. Not happening. Not happening. Not happening. All right, let's start with April. Why don't we start with you and talk through maybe the hardest part about when we're gone versus when we're home, and like the kind of like the two different. It's almost like two different lives in a way. Like the lives when we're here and helping and present, and the lives when we're at training camp and we're kind of wearing our athlete hat. Like what's the hardest part about that?
I guess I think when we're able to talk throughout the day, I think it's hard because like I'm like excited for some like adult conversation or like interaction, and you're like totally like zoned out from like rugby mode. So you're like, oh, what? Like, what's going on at home? So that type of thing is kind of funny. But like, I mean, the kids are old enough now, so it's not as like time consuming, but like when they were all babies, I mean, trying to get 3 kids ready and myself and get out everyone out the door on time is exactly, Mandy. Was tough. I mean, the kids are pretty self-sufficient now, so it's a lot easier to navigate when you're gone. But that would have been the hardest thing, I think, when the kids were real little, and then I'm trying to get it all myself.
We have a lot of meetings. Okay. Kelly, what's your perspective on that when Chuck's at camp or competitions are going?
Well, starting way back at his very first camp, as his first tryout for USA, we just kind of said to each other, don't expect any phone calls or texts or anything. Like, don't have any expectations that you're going to be able to speak to me. And, I don't. We go still for days. He'll be at camp and I won't talk to him. And, I just don't have any expectations of being able to talk to him. I know that he's doing what he needs to do to get gold at the next event, whatever that event will be. And he trusts and has faith in me that I'm doing what I need to do to take care of the kids and our household. And I just think that it's good not to have any expectations, and then you're not let down. He might send me a quick text or, call me, and then it's more of a, oh, cool. He called. It's a positive thing. So I just don't put any pressure on him to try to call me or anything like that, because he's got enough pressure on him while he's at camp to perform. He's got pressure on him to lead, being a co-captain. He has extra meetings to go to and things like that. And, I just know that he's doing everything he can to put himself in it and our family in a good position. And so I don't talk to him about what's going on at home. I don't complain. Unless somebody's life is at risk, I just figure we can vent later whenever he's home and I can just unload then. And that's about it.
Yeah, I love that. I think what you said too, I mean, whether or not you guys are applying that similarly, but thinking through the expectations of it. And if the expectations are known, it's a lot easier to be a team. If they're not known or you have different ones, you're not talking about them, that's not going to be good. And so I just love that there's expectations there, where, no expectations are expectations. That's awesome. Let's take it a little bit to kind of the ultimate deal. For me, that was London in 2012. For Chuck, that was 2016 in Rio. When you get to the Paralympics, you're able to experience that. But maybe talk about when he found out. Kelly, you can go first on this one. When he found out that he was going to be going to the Paralympics, what was that feeling? Not only for you guys, but as a family, that you reached that ultimate goal.
It was very emotional. I cried. It was just like, wow, he's reached the pinnacle of this sport, and up until that, they named the 12 going. I had no expectation to go. I was not prepared. I thought, don't get, I didn't want to be let down. So I had no expectation. Everybody kept asking, are you going? Are you going? Nope. I kept saying, nope, we're not going. We're not going. And so then when he was finally named to the 12, it was just like, wow, and then I thought, holy cow, I have to raise some funds because we have to go. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and our kids have got to be there, and I've got to be there regardless. At the time, it was Zika virus was the big thing. And there was a lot of unknowns about that. And it didn't matter to us. We were going, and that was it. And it was so exciting because our community rallied around us and really helped. They did all kinds of fundraisers. We had Monken Automotive who matched community donations for us. And we had like the body shop where Chuck works. They did a fundraiser for us as well. And we did our own fundraisers, and it was incredible. Just the organizations that reached out to us, the Jared Burke Foundation helped feed us when we were in Rio. I mean, they gave a significant donation, and just people bought t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. And, we just started to, plan our trip and get excited about it, and everything. So it was really amazing just to think that, you grow up watching the Olympics on TV, and just to have the opportunity to be there and see your husband is just overwhelming and just amazing. Like, the pride that you feel is just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. It's amazing. April, anything to add on that for when we found out in 2012?
No, I mean, same thing. I mean, you're so proud. Like, it's something that you worked so hard for. Like, it was a goal that you made, and it kind of, validated. I don't know if that's the right word you want to say, but like everything that you put into getting to where you were. I mean, from where you started to where you are now, like the pictures are completely different, and it's just kind of amazing to, get to witness firsthand the progress and the time, the commitment, everything that goes into it. So yeah, definitely a proud moment.
Yeah, I think Mandy brought up a good point here with, thank you, Mandy, for that. Chuck and I appreciate you, but I think it goes without saying, I'm glad to have this conversation here. And again, sorry about my technical difficulties, but it doesn't happen without the people behind us. And like, some of the athletes might not have wives or girlfriends or partners or whatever it would be, but family around us. And it's never just us putting in the work. Yeah, we might have to train, eat right, or whatever it is, but it's you guys sacrificing when we're gone, or it's a team effort. Like, sometimes I'm like, hey, it's not a sacrifice, 'cause I love doing this and I love to be able to do it, and it's a privilege. But at the same time, it's just the partnership and working together as a team. And we couldn't be where we are without you guys. And I know that, whether it's a wife, a girlfriend, our partner on the team, I know the one from 16. We're all thankful for the people in our lives that support us and make us who we are. We got a couple more questions before we get to the final rapid fire questions. But this one, talking about, the ultimate is the Paralympics, and we just found out recently, and our team hasn't been named yet, as far as who's going. So Chuck and I don't know if we're going, but it was just, Lori put on here, you wish vaccinated people could go and watch, and Stephanie talked about this. Josh Wheeler's wife, hey Stephanie, is with not being able to get to go and cheer in person if we make the team. How'd you guys take that news?
Well, it was very disappointing. Obviously the opportunity we had in Rio was huge for our kids. It really came at a critical point for our son, who was 16 years old at the time and really struggling with, not having anybody else in his high school who had a parent in a wheelchair, and, things like that. And so, that was really just an eye-opening experience for him, and really gave him the opportunity to realize how amazing his dad is. And so, we really wanted this opportunity again. And I know there's nothing we can do about a pandemic. I understand their decision. But yeah, I agree, Lori. I wish they would allow vaccinated people to attend. So just very disappointing. I had lots of plans for, fundraisers and stuff like that. And we are doing a t-shirt fundraiser, and Chuck will be using the money for rugby equipment because it is so expensive. I think there's a huge misperception out there that people on Team USA make all this money. And let's face it, I mean, wheelchair rugby is a loss leader. I mean, the equipment is so expensive. There's no way that we have made a dime off of Chuck playing wheelchair rugby. we have sacrificed things at home so that he can have new wheels. And he just ordered 2 new wheel guards, I think, and it was like, I don't know, $1,400 or something. It's crazy how expensive parts are. And just the frame for a new chair is $8,000 to $10,000. And when you're taking hits from guys like Riley Batt and Chris Bond, you're going to need a new chair every couple of years. So, I guess I got a little bit off topic there,
Hey,
but
shout out to the people in the back. Absolutely.
they just think because you're on Team USA, you're making all this money. It's totally not true. You're losing hand over fist in wheelchair rugby anyway.
Amen. Amen.
April, what about you with your kids? I mean, they're a different age than our kids are. They, our kids understand, but I'm not so sure. They can't go, and that's got to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, without the team being named, we didn't know for sure. But if Joe was selected, the plan was to go as a family with all the kids. I know, crazy. But so Braxton is 9. Tears coming down his face when we told him. Braden was kind of like, so we don't get to go to the Pokemon store? Like, and then Brinley is
the Pokemon Land or whatever it is.
and then Brinley was just like, what's the matter? Like, what's going on? So very much like once they figured out what was going on, because Braxton was just like, matter of fact, like, we can't go. And so they were all bummed because they were all excited to go and cheer on Daddy and, get to experience the whole thing. I mean, for London, Braxton was 6 months, 8 months, a baby when I took him. So tiny.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, obviously the whole thing and being postponed, and glad it's not canceled. But like, that's the dream, is to be able to experience it all together. It's a huge bummer, if we make it. So, yeah.
I'm super excited because this will be the first time in history, though, that they will pay the Paralympians the same amount as the regular Olympians. I mean, gosh, if that doesn't get you excited, nothing will. I mean, this is huge.
Yes.
You guys actually, bring home some money. That would
be
it's about time, right?
Yeah. Show me the money.
Bring mama home the paycheck. You are absolutely right. I think you bring up a great, Lori, absolutely equality with that, and you bring up a great point. And like, we haven't been in this for the money. It's an amazing opportunity to play the sport and be able to wear USA across your chest and honor that is. And then also being a leader and helping change people's lives. So they always like talking to people about, hey, we're, as far as our paychecks go, it's below poverty level type of thing. So we're always doing something else. Maybe share a little bit. I mean, you shared about the amazing community that you guys have and support there, but I know Chuck has worked really hard with being a coach at CrossFit and other places, and just sharing a little bit about like the different hats he wears outside of rugby, because obviously an elite level player, an elite leader, and had an amazing career, but like the hats he wears outside of rugby. Can you talk a little bit about that? What family life is like at home?
Sure. He still is the best house husband there is. I'm telling you, he does everything, but really wash windows. He doesn't do that. But I used to say and make beds, but a couple of years ago, he started making the beds because I think he read it in a book that you should always start your day by making your bed. And so he started doing that. So I'm just, hugely thankful for everything that he does do at home and the responsibility he takes on. I don't do anything with our finances. He handles all that. I just say, hey, do we have money to do this or buy this? And he says yes or no, and that's it. because I don't want to do that. I want to, focus on my career and my job. And so he takes care of all of our finances. He also works. He gets up at 3:30 in the morning, eats, does his whatever protein. He reads the Bible. He reads leadership materials. He goes to the gym and teaches CrossFit. He's a level 1 CrossFit trainer, certified. And so he teaches the 6 a.m. classes, and I think like 7, 8:30. I don't know. He teaches classes all times of the day, depending on when they need him. Um, and then trains like 6 days a week, pretty much. He's pushing. A lot of people in the community, see him pushing at the park, and they'll say, "Saw your husband pushing at the park." He goes to Walmart. I don't do that. I'm not doing that either. He does that. So he does tons of stuff. I'm just doing good to keep up with my own schedule. I don't worry about his schedule. He knows, he'll do his stuff, and I take care of me and the kids' schedules. But, as I've got 2 of them out of the house now, they take care of their own schedule. It's pretty crazy, but Bailey got to come home for the weekend after playing. She plays D3 softball for Spalding University. And we got to see her play at Fontbonne University over the weekend. And then Chuck took her back to Louisville yesterday. So, and Allison's going to go to University of Louisville in the fall. So I'll have both girls there in Louisville. So yeah, but
Amazing.
yeah, he does a lot of stuff. And then when I need something else, I'll say, "Hey, can you do this at this time?" And he'll figure out, yes, he can, no, he can't, or whatever. So
Yeah, it's amazing to hear. I think at camp we I don't know. It's weird because when we go there, it's almost like boys camp, where and girls camp, and Liz, first Liz, and all our women on the staff and stuff. But when we go there, it's almost like we're back, and all of us are buddies, and we're hanging out, and like we forget about like outside of the bubble of rugby and what people do and the many different hats that they wear. And Chuck is pretty amazing dude. Okay. So, do you want to add anything to that, April? I don't want to listen to you talk about how I don't make my bed every morning. That I need to be more like Chuck. I know I do.
I was going to say, I think when you started rugby, maybe we should have started in St. Louis, and Chuck could have taught you some things.
Oh boy. Pretty much everyone just thinks I eat jelly beans and do nothing anymore. Okay.
Before Chuck started doing the 6 a.m. classes, he made me breakfast every morning. I'm not a morning person, God love him, and he's just like gets up and he's ready to go, and he's like, eat breakfast and brings me orange juice, and lets me chill.
Amazing, dude.
Amazing.
Okay. April, are you done making fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you. You do a lot of stuff. Do you need me to list off all your...
No.
Okay.
No one wants to hear about how much I do. Sure. Kelly wants to.
Yeah. Maybe Chuck Blacken. There's an area he could pick up in. Joe.
It's okay to come out now.
Okay. Got me all flustered. Here we go. We're going to do rapid fire wrap up questions. Since everyone thinks that I don't do anything in the house anymore. Would you rather I be this question is for April, for me. You're answering for me. Kelly, you're answering for Chuck.
Okay.
These are like husband wife questions.
Okay.
So, Kelly, would you rather Chuck be a completely hairless or hairy as a gorilla?
Hairy as a gorilla.
April?
Hairless.
What actor would Chuck play? Or so what actor would play Chuck in a movie about your life?
Oh God. Jason Momoa.
Oh, that's perfect.
What you got?
Well, I feel like you always say The Rock, but
I'm not saying me. You get it.
Oh, I can see it.
I don't. I think it's weird for me because I feel like people always say you look like Blake Griffin or something like that. So like when I have to switch gears to think of like actor,
Maybe he's a good actor.
maybe.
Okay. April, you answer first. Would you rather our children grow up to be 8 feet tall or 3 feet tall?
8 feet.
Okay. Kelly?
8 feet, definitely.
Yeah.
Bailey is the shortest one in the house, and she hates it. So
And she's still, how tall is she?
she's 5'7".
Okay. Okay.
But everyone in our house has really big feet. So Chuck wears a 16, Blake wears a 13, Allison wears a women's 12, Bailey wears a women's 11, and I have the smallest feet with a 10.
Good deal. You wear size 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys' shoe rack must be as big as your garage. Okay. If you had to go for a week without your phone, what would you miss the most about it?
What would you miss? Clubhouse.
April, what would you miss the most about your phone?
Oh, what would I miss? I thought we were answering about you guys.
No.
Probably like the ability to take photos easily.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would miss texts from Chuck because, yeah, when he is here, he texts me multiple times a day, and he'll just randomly text me, "Good morning, beautiful," things like that. So
See how nice she is to her husband? She says all these loving things.
I'm very nice.
very nice.
Would you rather endure childbirth again or wear high heels all day?
Just that one night that we had at the Team USA Awards was enough for my I had to lose them before the night was over and just carry them by the straps because I was in so much pain. So I don't know.
I will agree, my feet did hurt, but I think we were also on like cobblestone and stuff because we were in like the Harry Potter thing, so that was a little that's a little tough on the ankles. But I don't know. I had to have a cesarean with Braden. I don't want to do that again.
Fair enough. Okay, we got one more question. What is your favorite memory of me? Kelly, what's your favorite memory of Chuck that always makes you laugh?
Ooh.
You want me to first?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it was pre-rugby or not, but I was working and he called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I know that's always a bad sign because I'm working, And I said, "Working, what's up?" And he said, "Well, when are you going to come home?" And I said, in like 4 hours. "What's up?" And he had dumped himself over backwards out of his wheelchair onto our deck. He was struggling getting back in his wheelchair. So that's all right. I'll be fine. And he just carried on and I carried on and he figured out a way. He was back in the chair once I got home. So I don't know how long it took him, but
that's a good one.
So favorite memory that makes me laugh of us? Well, I think I can laugh about it now, but I guess I would say when we were on our honeymoon and in the helicopter together. We can laugh about it now. So we took a helicopter tour in Maui. So, beautiful. and we were with another honeymooning couple, and like we kind of read up about it before we went.
Not a couple that we knew, just a random couple.
Yeah, a random couple. And so like it said like don't eat before you go, or like have just a light breakfast, like kind of went through like some guidelines or suggestions. And so I mean, we didn't eat a ton. And then the other couple we were with, they were like, yeah, we're good. And so like the pilot that was driving was like doing weird like drops and going up and like down through all the like to see waterfalls and like all the beautiful scenery. And he's like asking us over like the mics and stuff, is everyone good? Like, am I okay to keep like flying like this? And everyone's like, yeah, we're good. And like 2 seconds later, the other dude is like throwing up in a barf bag. And so we get to smell that for the rest of our flight. And it's funny to laugh about now, but obviously not at the time.
All right.
Funny thing happened when we went to Disney World. We were on that Tower of Terror where it does the so many stories drop. And this was after Chuck's accident. And so they had him strapped into the front. It's like rows of seats. And when you do the free fall, well, Chuck's legs like folded up in front of his face. And his hat flew off. And all the people in the ride were saying, look at that guy's legs. All this stuff, and Chuck's trying to get his legs down and hold them down in place. It was hysterical. Up in his face. It was awful. So funny.
That's some great flexibility.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chuck does his yoga every night and stretches, and yeah, totally outshines me.
All right. Last question. Who's winning gold in Tokyo?
USA!
Come on now.
You guys, thank you so much for being on. Kelly, thanks for all your awesome answers. April, we're going to need counseling after this with our. But no, like, thank you guys so much for what you do for us, seriously, and with us, and partnering along with that. I know we appreciate it on our side, and I'll say, I tell you, Kelly, I tell Chuck all the time. I tell you, 2016, and obviously it wasn't the way I wanted it to go, and then not winning. But I think whenever I think about 2016, I think about you and the 3 kids, and like picturing you guys cheering on Chuck, and it's like one of my favorite memories. That's not of myself, but I think it's just a beautiful thing, and being able to have that memory and cherish that is so amazing. But
it was truly an amazing experience. Our kids still talk about it. They really wanted to go to Tokyo so badly and experience that, and just meeting the other family members that were there and getting to spend time with them was so fun. And it was really just great. Just watching the very first game when they announced their name and they came out of the tunnel. It was that was overwhelming for me. And I just broke down and sobbed in the stands with my kids looking at me like, Mom, why are you crying? They haven't even started yet, but it was just so emotional and really just an amazing experience.
Yeah. Speaking of amazing, Sue Bush Daly, what's up, girl? Hope you're well. All right. Everyone needs to contact April and Kelly about the planning committee for U.S. Wheelchair Rugby's watch party. It's going to happen.
We'll be having one all over Washington County, Illinois.
Love it. You guys have an awesome day. Kelly, thank you so much again. April, thank you so much.
Yep.
On behalf of on behalf of all the players and staff, we just thank you so much for all of our family, our friends, our partners, our husbands, wives, partners, whatever it is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.